About 20 miles northwest of Santa Monica in California lies the ancestral lands of the Chumash peoples, Simi Valley. The valley, in 1821, played host to Spanish early settlers, whom brought ranching or El Rancho Simi to the valley. The name Simi has remained. Simi Valley's population began to increase in the 1860s as eastern states' U.S. pioneers were drawn west and the town of Simiopolis was established. Now Simi Valley plays host to 126,000 residents, with their modern houses scattered throughout the valley. However, a small group of historical enthusiasts have dedicated their time, knowledge, and efforts to find, maintain, and restore much of the lost history in the valley, the Strathearn Historical Park and Museum. So, without further delay, here's your host, Brent.
Welcome back, guys. Today I'm at the Strathearn Historical Park and Museum, and I'm privileged to be here with Dave Howe, who is the
Museum Director.
Fantastic. I know that this is on the historical site of the Strathearn family. How many of the buildings here are original? How many have been brought in, and how many buildings are there altogether?
Okay. So the only building that is actually sitting right where it was constructed is the Strathearn home behind us here. All the other buildings were actually moved in from old portions of our town of Simi, which at the time was called Simiopolis. And in total, I guess we probably have somewhere in the ballpark of about 12 buildings here.
Wow, okay. All right, so let's go have a look.
We're on the way.
All right, Dave, so this is the church that's been relocated here. I notice there's no bell tower.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting story because when the church was first built, it didn't have a bell tower. But one of the members of the Catholic congregation, well, her husband was playing in a friendly game of cards. And it turned that it wasn't so friendly and he got shot.
Oh.
And so she ended up praying that, hey, if the Lord would save him, that she would buy the church a bell. And he survived, and she actually did purchase a bell, which we have in the lobby. She ordered it from Montgomery Ward, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Right, now Dave, this is the Strathearn family home. Now one thing I notice about it is you've got a Adobe style on one end and you've got a Victorian style on the other end. What's going on there?
Well, the one-story portion of it is Adobe, has 3-foot thick walls, and it was built by the Spanish around 1810.
Wow.
And then Mr. Strathearn actually added the front portion, the 2-story Victorian, in about 1892, 1893.
Right. And so this was the main ranchero to begin with the Adobe, and then when the Strathearns took over, did they live in the Adobe portion?
Yeah, they did. Mr. Strathearn, when he bought the property, it had the Adobe. It was in really bad shape,
okay.
But he fixed it all back up, and the family actually used it as part of their home clear up until 1968.
Wow. Okay, fantastic. Okay, Dave, I noticed that these two houses are very similar. What's actually going on here with these?
Yeah, these are actually quite interesting. We call these colony houses. They were built in 1888 in Chicago, Illinois, and then shipped all the way out here. They were shipped as kit houses that had to be built once they were out here. They're all furnished on the inside and actually quite beautiful. Yeah, there's kind of a fun story about the stove that's in there. It was actually donated by one of our pioneer families by the last name of Pitts, P-I-T-T-S.
All right.
And it was donated by a lady that married into the family, and her name was Olive Pitts. I just think that's great.
Oh, that's fantastic. Right, Dave, this is the old library. It was built in the 1930s.
That's right.
It's sort of stuck out the back here. What's the interesting story behind it?
Well, a couple of interesting stories real quick. The city of Simi, actually, they wanted to have their own purpose-built library. So this building has a couple of interesting stories. One, it's the first purpose-built library in Ventura County. Okay. The people of Simi wanted to have a building to house all of their books rather than having books gathered around in church basements and businesses and the like. But one of the things that's kind of fun about this is inside we do have a collection of the annuals from our high schools here in town. And
Oh,
so
wow.
people like to come in, look at those. If they find their picture, then they can brag to their friends that their picture is actually in the historic library at Strathearn Historical Park.
Oh, so that's a really fantastic thing for the people of Simi who have grown up here.
That's right.
To be able to come down and look at.
Yeah, that's right. They really enjoy that.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So, Dave, it's my understanding that the park opens up the facility for events as well.
Yeah,
Tell
absolutely.
us a little bit about that.
Yes, absolutely. It's a wonderful place to have an event. Oftentimes, people will utilize the front porch of Strathearn home, let's say for a wedding. Then after the wedding, they'll transition over to the Wood Ranch barn, where they will have music and dancing and food. But it really is a very nice location for a venue.
Right, fantastic. And I understand you also have like annual things going on, like Halloweens and steampunk, things like that as well.
Yes, that's right. As a matter of fact, the Parks District has a couple of events throughout the year. Steampunk is one of those, but also the Historical Society puts on a number of events that typically are free to the community. For example, we just had Heritage Halloween, so the kids could come in and trick-or-treat all around all the old buildings. They're really quite fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds really great. Look, if you're wanting somewhere to go down and spend 4 or 5 hours, go on one of the tours here. It's only a donation. They only expect about $5. It's a fantastic venue. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. This has been fun.
Okay.
Strathearn Historical Park and Museum is situated at 137 Strathearn Place, Simi Valley. Is open for public enjoyment. The historical park can be booked as a venue for your special events by visiting their website on the screen now. Anchors Away RV hosts Brent and Jaynee would like to give special thanks to the following for allowing the filming of this content.